This period brought to you by Scotiabank, proud supporter of over 5,000 community hockey teams and Canada's 5th season.
Now please rise, remove your hats, and join the singing voice of your Calgary Flames. Tonight, George Canyon, accompanied by Flames organist Willie Jewson and members of the Calgary Fire Department in the singing of the Canadian National Anthem. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Thank you, George.
The last time these two teams met, it was a 5-2 win for the Flames in Edmonton back on October 9th. We'll see what happens in Calgary tonight. Let's go upstairs to Craig Simpson and Rick Ball.
All right, thank you, Cassie. Yes, game 2 of this 5-game season series between the Oilers and the Flames. We check the starting goaltenders. For Edmonton, Victor Fost gets the call between the pipes. First start for Fost since December 12th. He did come in relief of Ben Scrivens on Tuesday. He's 2-1-0 all time against the Calgary Flames. At the other end, Jonas Hiller has been the workhorse for the Flames of late. 6 start, last 7 games for Hiller. 13-4-1 all time against Edmonton, but this is his first start against the Oilers as a member of the Calgary Flames. Referees tonight, Graham Skilleter and Brad Meyer. Linesmen are Mike Civic and Brad Lazarowicz. The Flames look to build off an amazing come-from-behind win against the Kings in LA. Just prior to the Christmas break, the Oilers have won just once their last 20 games. Hope's couple days off is just what the doctor ordered as we get set to go, and we're underway in Calgary. Arcabello beats Granlund on the opening faceoff. Klefbom works the puck ahead, chipped in by Perron. Weidman back to it for the Flames, turning in the corner. Plays the puck off the boards, took a weird bounce. Nobody knows where it is. It's on top of the board, still in play in the corner. Puck just sitting there. It took a second for the players to realize it. Fed to the line, Fane kept it in, but is brought out by Goodrow. 4 goals, 2 games for Goodrow. Works it down the wing. Johnny Goodrow in deep behind the net. Looking out front, there's a shot. That goes off the foot of Klefbom, and Fane able to settle it down behind his own net. Ahead to Perron. Arcabello now to Teddy Purcell. Purcell playing on this line as Eberle's moved up to play with the Hall-Nugent-Hopkins lines, at least to start this game tonight. As the Flames get the puck in their own zone, and Weidman will work it out late in his shift. Gains center ice, chops the puck in, turns to the bench to finish off a change. Blank cross on the forecheck. Petrie back to it, gave it away. Monahan looking for David Jones in the corner. Jones hit by Petrie behind the goal. Hall gets to it. Back to the other side. Giordano, who had the overtime goal against the Kings, put it wide. Hall picks it up down low. Blank cross on him quickly. Nugent-Hopkins up the boards. And Eberle's there to feed it out to Petrie with Hall. Hall goes to the net. Petrie with a pass. Hiller makes the save on a 2-on-1 as they couldn't finish off that opportunity. Jonas Hiller makes his first stop of the game, and it's a good one. Colborne drops it off at his own line. Chris Russell, another Medicine Hat Tiger across to Weidman, up for Raymond. Mason Raymond carries in, swings wide, lost the puck. Draisaitl takes it away. A little too far for Yakupov as the Flames able to chop it back out the center, worked in. Pitlick trying to get to the front of the goal. Russell broke up that opportunity. Nail Yakupov gets it back and retreats into his own zone, watched by Byron. Fires it across. Controlled by Mark Fane, who carries to center. Gets around Bollig. Fane over the line, but Pinizzotto stepped in early on the right wing.
Well, with so many days off to get away from the game, this game has had some good pace early on. An odd man rush. Petrie with a nifty pass right through the defense to Taylor Hall. And here's Todd Nilsson in his 5th game. As Cassie said at the beginning, all kinds of travel problems. It happens to many people over the Christmas holidays, but I'm sure some anxious and nervous moments for Nilsson, worried about missing this game, but made it back on the bench in time. Obviously, Craig MacTavish there just in case as well.
Nelson reenacting the Steve Martin role in planes, trains, and automobiles day to get here. Diaz at center, fires the puck in for Calgary. Petrie to it in the corner. Bollig converging on Petrie, throws a hit. Petrie to Ference. Up the boards for Hendricks, back in the lineup, missed the last game. Down low for Andrew Ference. Petrie. Pinizzotto let it go, maybe icing, gonna wave it off though.
Aggressive pinch there by Diaz, so the wave off as he could have made a play on the puck, chose to make a play on the body.
Staging across to Rafa Diaz. Playing a lot more in the last few games with Schmid injured. Dumps the puck in and heads off on a change. Petrie back to it to Ference. Andrew Ference up the wall. Chips it off the boards, off a stick into the Edmonton bench and out of play.
You know, it's interesting, Rick, with this Calgary Flames team, the mantra all year long has been earned, not given. And I think that the Calgary Flames players have really taken to Bob Hartley's message. And you have to think for Hartley, his new contract extension, very much that as well, earned and not just given. I think he's been a good fit here. He's been very calm and communicative to the team, and the young players are developing at a pretty quick pace under the tutelage of Hartley.
Did a good job last year building the culture that's carried over to this year with some more success in the standings, although they had lost 8 in a row prior to that win against the Kings. Flames go to work in the offensive zone. Hoodler gets the puck in the corner. Chips it down low for Granlund. He's tied up. Payne tried to play it back to the corner, but gave it away to Marcus Granlund. Granlund leaves the puck down low. Arcobello, watched by Goodrow, able to flip it over a stick and down the ice. And this one will go for an icing call on the Oilers.
When you think of this line for the Calgary Flames, they were the comeback line in Los Angeles before the break. Johnny Goodrow with his first career NHL hat trick, but that shift there, that pressure down low, he and Yuri Hoodler are getting some real chemistry together, and that was a good example of pressure on the defense. The Oiler D against that line are going to have to make some plays under pressure and have their head on a swivel because they can dart with the best of them.
Goodrow getting a lot of attention, rightfully so, but Hoodler, 13 goals, leads the Flames in that department as well, so they're feeding off each other. Monahan will take the face-off against Arcobello, who wins it for the Oilers after the icing call. Payne up the boards. Purcell cut it off in the corner, turns, finds Arcobello in front of his net. Clefbaum takes control, plays it off the boards out to center ice. Brody's there to tip it ahead to Jones. Took a hit from Arcobello. Purcell gets the puck. Works it slowly over the line, waiting for support. Long shot on Hiller. Bobbled the rebound, but it's swatted off a stick and out to the neutral zone. Justin Schultz back to it. Across to Brad Hunt. Back to Schultz, ahead to Eberle. He's clobbered by Monahan. They both go down. The Flames take the puck away. Brody got it ahead to Raymond, who tipped it in off a stick. Byron on the forecheck. Schultz back to it. Leads the puck for Hunt. Raymond hassling him down low. Hall comes in to help. Raymond winds up with the puck in tight quarters. Got it back to the line to Brody with a slap shot. That goes off Hall. Around the boards, near side, Eberle. Plays it down low for Schultz. Back up the other side for Hall. Back to Hunt. To Schultz. Flames hard on the forecheck. Eberle will try to get it across and does. Finds Taylor Hall, carries out to center ice. Hall down the wing. Nugent Hopkins with it. Shot by Hall, blockered away by Hiller. Rebound comes to Colborne late in the shift, and he'll flip it in as he takes a hit from Petrie and then peels off to the bench. 4.5 minutes gone in the scoreless first period. Petrie deep in his own zone. Finds Yakupov in full stride. Out to center ice. Gave it away to Bollig. Brandon Bollig back the other way. 3 Flames over the line. Bollig down the wing. Battling with Petrie in the corner. Yakupov comes back to help out. Stagins behind the net. Puck slides to the other side. And it's flipped out to center by Pitlick, who's clobbered by Bowman. The Flames get physical in the last couple of shifts.
There's 3 big hits by the Calgary Flames. And on home ice after the break, a lot of teams try to get themselves eased into the game. One way of getting right back into hockey mode is to hit. And here you've got a puck in the feet of Eberle. Couldn't control it. Nice hit by Monahan. You're maybe not expecting that hit. Byron, you're definitely expecting to take a hit to make a play. And already 8-4 on home ice are the hits for the Flames.
Hunt for the Oilers behind the net. Pinizzotto watched by Englund. England stumbled. Pinizzado's tied up by Stajan. Kicks the puck free. Boyd Gordon trying to get it back to the line. Does to Schultz with a bit of room and a shot. That's blocked. Diaz got in the way of that one. The puck comes out to center ice. Matt Hendricks lead past Pinizzado. Nice play to Gordon, carrying in with a shot. That goes high. Wide of the goal as well. Hendricks to it on the other side with a shot that hit Pinizzado in the skate. He gets it again behind the net. Watched by Russell. Puck in the corner. Granlund comes over to help. Knocked down by Matt Hendricks. Goodrow winds up with control. A little too far for Weidman at center. Klefbom retreats into his own zone with control.
It looks like early on here, Todd Nelson trying to make sure that Fane and Klefbom get out against this Kudler-Goodrow line with Granlund.
Oilers with a 3-0 edge in shots. Scoreless game. Klefbom back to the puck. Head up, skates it out himself. Wheels through the neutral zone with a long shot in off a stick. It goes out of play. 13:57 left in the first. Still scoreless. Flames and Oilers on Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Welcome back to Calgary, and you'll notice some of the Flames have blue tape on their sticks and on their socks, especially in warm-up. And Matt Stajan and his wife Katie announced in early December their new fundraising initiative, A Night Under the Stars, which will benefit the Emerson Stajan Foundation and the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. There's Wayne and Ann Fairbrother, the parents of Katie Stajan, who is expecting some good news here, guys. She's 8 months pregnant and expecting a boy. Of course, the two lost their son Emerson earlier this year, but it's nice to see that she's pregnant again. Rick?
Thank you, Cassie. Playback underway in a scoreless first period, just past the 6-minute mark. Hit thrown by Glenn Cross, but the Oilers worked the puck to center ice. Nugent Hopkins took a body check from Giordano. Puck goes deep into the zone. Brody tried to feed it around the boards, hit the official. Monahan's there to help out. Everly cuts it off on the far side. Glenn Cross got it to the line, but not out. Kept on side. Nugent Hopkins down low for Everly. Watched by Brody. 3 Oilers behind the net. Now Nugent Hopkins retreats. Puck comes free. Brody dives, pokes it ahead to his partner Giordano, misses Jones with a pass. And this will be an icing call on Calgary. Unable to serenade the one he loves, Mumble the Penguin uses his fancy footwork to woo her. Robin Williams and Elijah Wood star in the animated musical Happy Feet tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on CBC. Flames win the draw in their own zone. Give it away at the line, kept in by Hunt. Hiller out of the goal. Brody takes control, bank pass to Byron, swats it across to Glencross. Curtis Glencross took a bump but found Byron down the way. Paul Byron deep in the zone. Got it out front, deflects on goal. Might stop as they score the rebound. Joe Colborne put it in. It bounced around like a pinball. The Flames take a 1-0 lead.
I mentioned early on how the Calgary Flames getting in on the forecheck, trying to turn pucks over. You have to make some plays under pressure. A puck in the corner that's up for grabs. A nice job of protecting it to the outside. A bad break for the Edmonton Oilers as the puck goes off a skate. But Victor Fast has no idea where this puck is. Watches a turnaround. It's off a skate of Colborne, and he's the only one on the doorstep that was able to find the loose puck. Victor Fast looking to his right, puck to the left, and Rick, that's been the story of the goaltenders for the Edmonton Oilers, seemingly looking one way, the puck going the other. An early break for the Calgary Flames.
Kind of the way it's been going overall for Edmonton of late. Colborne's first goal of the season, by the way, as we take one more look at the goal by Joe Colborne.
So much made of goaltending, but this is just one bad break that leads to an opportunity. It goes off a skate, and on the doorstep, it's Justin Schultz who can't find the puck. Colborne, to his credit, hunted that puck quickly, fast down, and no chance to make a play.
Boma facing off against Gordon, who wins the draw for the Oilers, but the Flames get the puck back. Rafa Diaz works it across on the forehand with a shot put out wide. He had traffic in front but missed the net. Fed across the line. Schultz jumps up on the play with a shot. That deflects wide of the goal. Lance Boma over to it. Matt Stajan trying to feed it across. It's deflected. Bollig gets it back. Now Diaz up on the play. Cuts to the top of the circle with a shot. Stick saved by Foss. Puck goes high in the air but stays in play. Mason Raymond. Cochrane, Alberta native. Works the puck up the boards. Turns along the wall. Raymond back to the line to Russell. Cross to Weidman. 10 goals this season. Back to Russell. Chris Russell Matt Stajan drops it off for Raymond, trying to cut out front on the backhand. Turns to the forehand with a shot. That goes off the foot of Gordon. Russell pinches. Got it out front. Puck sits free. Chopped to the boards. Pinizzato can't clear. Stajan kept it onside. Good work by the Flames on this shift after that goal, looking to make it 2-0. Oilers trying to settle it down. Schultz takes control behind his net. Ahead to Pinizzato. Pressured by Russell. Chops it back to the corner. Schultz feeds it across to Hunt. Back to Schultz.
You see the impact of the early goal. One team's got to
Give away out front. Goodrow right in. Scores! Johnny Goodrow makes it 2-0 Calgary.
When you've got a fragile team and a team that doesn't believe in their goaltending, it's amazing the impact of what one goal can do. The Flames smell blood, they pressure once again. One errant pass ends up with another opportunity at the net. This is a long pass that hits another body, David Perron, and Johnny Goodrow. In his young career, it's amazing how this puck finds him. He was the rallier in Los Angeles with a block shot by Jared Stoll that went right on his stick and in the back of the net. And there's another one off of David Perron, right on his stick, and he makes no mistake.
5 goals, 3 games now for Johnny Goodrow. Unassisted, that's 2 goals in a minute 24. Here they come again, Goodrow right in, lost the puck and scores! A 2-0, Goodrow's 6th goal in 3 games, and it's 3-0 Calgary.
It's been an all-too-current theme for these Edmonton Oilers this year. But credit once again, these two teams lead the league in turnovers. The Oilers first, the Calgary Flames second. This is simple, good, quick transition breakout. The D gets spread, one quick pass, you take it, I got it. This one, Johnny Goodrow ends up missing this shot. He's trying to make a deep, doesn't quite get there. And much like the last game the Oilers played, it was Ben Scrivens who gave up 2 goals on 3 shots, gets replaced by Victor Fast. And in this game, it's 3 goals early, and here comes Scrivens.
2 goals, 16 seconds apart by Goodrow. 3 in a minute 40 for the Flames, 3 on 6 shots, and as you mentioned, Foss done for the night.
And Ricky, that last one especially, there are turnovers that happen like the first Johnny Goodrow goal that hit off of Perron. But that's a dump in and that's a set breakout. There's no excuse for those D to be spread that far.
It was almost a 2-on-0, remarkably.
Hoodler took it first and gave it to him.
Here's Eberle down low, trying to get something going for the Oilers. They get a bad break and then the wheels came off. Try and settle things down here. Andrew Ference. Nugent Hopkins. Taylor Hall, Eberle, Petrie at the line. Fans chanting for Johnny Goodrow. The rookie's on a tear right now. There's Petrie with a bit of room. Winds up, slap shot, whistled it wide. Puck goes around the boards and out. Draisaitl just off the bench, takes control and drops it off for Hunt.
Yeah, nothing like a quick 5 goals in less than 4 periods. Not a bad little string for him.
And the game-tying goal in the comeback against Vancouver as well. They didn't win that game, but they got the single point out of it. Weidman throws a hit, knocks down Draisaitl. Here goes Raymond with some speed down the wing, working on Schultz. Raymond turns, trying a shot off the leg of Schultz into the corner. Byron behind the net for Colborne. Joel Colborne up front for Diaz with a shot. Scrivens forced to make a nice save in his first stop, coming in relief. Victor Foss, Johnny Goodrow with 2 more goals. Flames up 3-0 over the Oilers. Ben Scrivens talking to his teammates after replacing Victor Foss, who gave up 3 goals on 6 shots in the first period.
You know, the one thing that you worry about is when it's happened so often with this team. Here's the game before the Christmas break. 2 goals on 3 shots for Scrivens. You know the team loses faith in you. There's questions abound, and I think the way that Scrivens coming in relief here is just trying to send the message. Lots of time left, guys. Settle in and try to get back into this hockey game. But it seems there have been so many different ways this Oiler team has found a way to lose. It's hard to believe this game could start any worse for them.
Yeah, you get a bad bounce, and you get a bad giveaway, and then a breakaway.
You know, the real danger is when you don't have faith that you're going to get that big save, guys start to get tight, and when they do make a mistake, they're looking at each other as who's in the break. The first period has been a death knell for the Edmonton Oilers, finding themselves behind far too often. They've only scored first 13 times in the now 36 games that they've played in. And the goals against there show the hole that they've been digging themselves out of.
And the first period's been the worst this season for the Flames. They only had 17 first period goals, 4 coming into this game.
The one thing I would say, though, this team was ready to play. With a 6-game homestand, the Flames started out in the first with a real jump and taking the body every chance they got.
Face-off win for the Oilers. Petrie shot stopped by Hiller. Purcell battling, gets some help. Arcobello along the wall, chips it down low. Perron has to wait for it to bounce off the glass. Purcell gets to it in the corner. Watched by Russell. David Perron trying to find Arcobello, bounces away from him. There's a chance now for Perron again with a weak shot. Steered aside by Hiller. Puck goes behind the net. Granlund over to it. Johnny Gaudreau can't get it out. Tip wide of the goal by Perron. Puck goes around the boards to center ice. Ferentz back to it. Gave it away to Weidman. Cross-ice pass for Gaudreau. 2 already. Gaudreau trying to feed it out front. Never got there. Good job by Ferentz to come back and block that pass. Jeff Petrie clears the zone. Mark Giordano. Plays it ahead. Penalty coming up to the Oilers. As Hall touches the puck. There'll be a slashing call. The Flames with a 3-0 lead get the first power play of the game.
And it's David Perron going off the ice. Just a needless penalty, a frustration-born penalty. You remember the turnover that turned into the second goal of the game for David Perron, and this one in the neutral zone, going to the bench. Just a penalty you don't need to have. It's a retaliation there on Granlund as Granlund's going off right in front of the official.
Monahan out there with Glenn Cross and Raymond up front. Brody and Giordano man the points. Pass back to Giordano is tipped away. All the way back to the Calgary zone. Flames power play. 10th in the league at 19.7%. The Oilers penalty kill is tied for 16th. Giordano wheels through center. Works it down the boards. Stops in the corner. Played it back to the line, but out of the reach of his partner Brody and all the way down the ice. TJ Brody back. Watched by Matt Hendricks. Brody's pass. Giordano tipped it in. Scrivens sweeps it across. Fane takes control. Fires it ahead to Matt Hendricks. Kill some time in the neutral zone. Work it back into his own end and give the puck to Andrew Ferentz. 224 games over 4 seasons for Ferentz as a Flame. Then a shot by Hendricks, stopped by Hiller, and he's forced to cover up as Hendricks heads towards the crease. Draws a bit of a crowd.
Well, there's been so many good stories early on here for the Calgary Flames, but maybe none more than the play of their captain. What a year Giordano's having, both offensively and defensively. I think one of the most impressive thing, not just is the points, and you could see over the year how well he's done offensively, but also the consistency. 27 games he's had a point in this season, and that's coming under some big duress, playing big minutes both offensively and defensively. By far his best season of his career.
Not just the leading defensive scorer, but 14th overall in NHL scoring this season.
And those are heavy minutes, like all great defensemen. He's playing top defensive minutes, and the offense just seems to be clicking for him this year.
Whittler works it in, blows a tire, and the puck's fired down the ice. So a good job by the Oilers on this penalty kill. If they can finish it off with 38 seconds left in the Perron penalty, maybe build a little momentum off this.
You know, sometimes, Rick, you get such a good 5-on-5 game going that the power play stalls you a bit. I think that's what's happened for Calgary here. They're really rolling 5-on-5 and haven't been able to get it going.
Here's Hoodler feeding it back to Russell with a shot. Stopped by Scrivens. Rebound to Gaudreau with a shot. Scrivens makes the save, and the rebound played back to Scrivens by Purcell, who covers up. 16 seconds left in the power play.
After not being able to get the setup, they finally did get control, and it's outmanning the Oilers down low. Hoodler with a nice outlet pass, and you can see Scrivens out aggressively at the top of his crease, able to get a rebound. It was there for a split second, and Gaudreau tried to go underneath the arm, and a nice save by Scrivens.
Bob Hartley telling us today his message to Johnny Gaudreau has been shoot the puck more. I think he's bought in.
He's buying in now, and it's going in the back of the net, isn't it?
Granlund facing off against Boyd Gordon for the Oilers. Granlund's wave. Raymond comes in for the draw for Calgary. Puck comes back to the line. Brody had to retreat though as Eberle shorthanded wheels in down the wing. Eberle trying to cut around Brody. Forced behind the net. Taylor Hall onto it on the other side. Eberle to Hall. Bouncing in the air. Granlund chips it to the line and brings it up. Perron's out of the box. Oilers have killed it off as Marcus Granlund works the puck deep. Takes a hit in the corner. Puck goes behind the net. Perron's down low. He's tripped up by Granlund. That'll be a penalty on Marcus Granlund. So Edmonton will go on the power play. Scrivens heads to the bench for the extra attacker. Perron drops it off. Teddy Purcell works the puck through center ice. Ahead. Hunt fires it around the boards. Taylor Hall trying to get there. Giordano touches the puck. Draws a bit of a crowd, but Marcus Granlund going to the box. The Oilers get their first power play.
Well, there hasn't been much that Bob Hartley would be displeased with about his team's start here in the first 14 minutes, but this might be the one. An offensive zone penalty in a 3-0 game, almost 200 feet from your own net. The stick gets caught between the legs of David Perron, and that's one that I'm sure Granlund would like to have back.
It's been called 13:57 mark. Oilers power play. 28th in the league. Worst on the road at 5.3%. Penalty kill for the Flames, 28th as well. Brody fires the puck around the boards and down the ice. So a good penalty kill for the Oilers. Sorry, Craig, and a chance maybe on the power to play to build some more momentum.
Yeah, and this is where you forget about the pass percentages. This is just a time where you have to score. It's an opportunity to get right back in the game.
Purcell had that puck in his skates, and they go offside the Calgary blue line with 1:44 left in the power play.
Well, the emotion coming into this game for the Flames after breaking their losing skid of 8 games gave them a little bit of life. You know, there hasn't been a whole lot of life on the bench all year for the Edmonton Oilers, but with so much time left, the opportunistic goal here gives them real hope and energy as this game moves along.
Nugent Hopkins takes the pass and works the puck over the line. Plays it on the right side to Eberle. Turns in the corner. Got it back to Purcell working the point. Over to Hunt on the other side. Eberle with room. Top of the circle. Dropped it off to Hall. Hall back to Brad Hunt. Eberle. Nugent Hopkins back to Eberle. Hunt. One-timer. That whistles high and wide off the boards. High in the air. Eberle's knocked down. So is Nugent Hopkins. And they're staging to clean things up and fire it down the ice.
A couple quick passes to get the setup for the one shot with a little bit of traffic in front, but the errant shot and a funny bounce, and then a nice job of the Flames converging on the puck.
Petrie works the puck in down the wing. Bank pass around. Yakupov lost an edge, and Joe Colborne, who has a goal tonight, got the puck to center. Carried in by Russell. He hasn't scored a goal yet this season. Colborne has his first. As Perron works the puck back on the power play. Half minute to go in the Calgary penalty. Here's Petrie. Schultz. Yakupov with a shot that's blocked by Russell. Leads the league in that category. 110th blocked shot by Chris Russell this season. Joe Colborne in the corner.
You don't have to be the biggest body to get in the way, do you?
Be in the right spot. Yakupov back at the point across to Petrie with a bit of room and a shot tipped wide of the goal. Perron was there looking for the redirect. Schultz in deep, out front for Perron, knocked away by Russell. Weidman will try to get it past Yakupov. Good job by Noel Yakupov to keep it in. Penalty's over. Here's Yakupov. Draisaitl with a shot. Another block by Russell. He swats the puck ahead. Payne hustles over to keep it onside. No shots on that power play for Edmonton. The Flames get the puck. Granlund is out of the box, banks it off the boards and up, and heads, or allows his teammates to head to the bench. He stays out there as here's Taylor Hall over the line. Giordano dropped the stick, picks it up. Arcobello winds up with the puck. Played back to Payne at the point with room and a shot. Nice stop by Hiller with traffic in front of the goal. Brody clears the zone. Platform at his own line. Played it away from Hoodler. Found Taylor Hall. Arcobello will wire the puck in and around. Pitlick to it on the near boards. Into the corner for Hall. Turns from Granlund. Hall behind the net. Finds Arcobello. Back to Hall in the corner. Taylor Hall watched by Granlund. Drops it off. Platform fan. Puck kept in. Pitlick feeds it down low. Arcobello bumped by Giordano. Pitlick winds up with the puck. took a hit from Granlund. They both fall. Arcobello goes down. Giordano gets control. Turns in the corner. Plays it ahead. The Flames should have room to clear it out and do. Calgary changing. Oilers trying to take advantage. They tip it in. Henrik's just off the bench for Edmonton. Goes into the forecheck. Diaz beats him to the puck. Clears. Boyd Gordon settles it down. Schultz takes control now. Ahead to Matt Hendricks. Long dump in by Hendricks. Looking for the big bounce out front. Comes right back to Schultz. Rolling puck, put it wide. Maybe intentionally. Landcross takes control near his own blue line. Cross-ice pass misses Derek Anglin. Jeff Petrie. Justin Schultz. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins carries in. Whistles one high and wide. Comes around the boards to Glencross. He's able to carry through center ice. Plays it deep. Jones on the forecheck. Nugent-Hopkins gets control. Finds Taylor Hall. He'll bring it out. Baines up on the rush. Hall forced to get around Bollig, so he flips it in. Giordano goes back to it. Brody tipped it up the boards. Nice play by Boma off the wall to find David Jones and make that Matt Stajan across to Bollig, but it's in his skates. And the Flames go offside at the Edmonton blue line. 2 goals for Johnny Gaudreau. The Flames up 3-0. 1:46 left in the first on Hockey Night in Canada. Victor Fost on the bench, pulled after giving up 3 goals on 6 shots. Craig, what's going through his head right now, do you think?
You know the amount of frustration on this team as a whole. This is Fost tonight, just taking his mask off, sitting down, fairly calm. His last start, an emotional one against his former team, 3 goals on 12 shots on December 12th, and he had a bit of a different reaction. Dallas Aikens gave him the pull. He came and he had plenty to say to his teammates, and that's the reality when the team's struggling. It's a fine line. You want to have emotion from your goaltender, you want to have energy, but that balance between energy and frustration is a pretty fine line. I think he handled himself well this time around, and he hopes here that his team can respond. Ben Scrivens has come in and made a couple of good saves to at least keep it a 3-goal game.
The Oilers have settled things down in front of them as well, since the Flames went up 3-0. Payne back to the puck at his own blue line. Shots are 9-7 in favor of Calgary. Mark Fayne drops it off. Clefbaum feeds it ahead for Perron, put it behind him. Flames take it away. Monahan flipped it in. Lone man on the forecheck. Calgary changing. Monahan hits Fayne. Fayne makes a play to Clefbaum. Back to Fayne. Monahan almost stole it. Clefbaum got it back ahead to Perron. He'll play it off the boards. Arcobello works it to center. Final minute of play in the first. Long shot in up high on Hiller. Oilers changing. As TJ Brody feeds it back to Mark Giordano. Lead pass to Monahan off his leg. Brody has to hustle over to it. He fires it in. David Jones onto it. Scrivens trouble getting back into the net. Jones threw it out front. And it bounces to Yakupov, who feeds it ahead. Petrie up on the play. Will dump it in for the Oilers. Pitlick to it. Hard hit by Giordano. Knocks Pitlick to the ice. Schultz keeps the play into Petrie with a shot. That's deflected just high and wide. Around the boards to Jones, who clears. Final 20 seconds of the period. Draisaitl back to it. 19-year-old German works the puck to the line. Lead pass for Eberle. Russell takes it away. Mason Raymond controls. Almost coughed it up, but Weidman brings it out. Final few seconds of the period. Weidman poke check at the line as the horn sounds. And there's a penalty coming up at the 20-minute mark, so it looks like
it's going to be Paul Byron for a trip.
It's going against Calgary. Byron looks like he's going off for a trip, as you mentioned, Craig.
Well, it's just the little tug on the back of the knee, and Hunt goes down as Colburn's walking in, and the arm went up.
So a big first period for the Flames as they score 3 quick ones, 2 of them by Johnny Gaudreau. They lead the Edmonton Oilers by a score of 3-0 here in Calgary. Round 2 of the Battle of Alberta. Coming up at the intermission, Inside the Game with George, Nick, Damian, and Elliot.
This period brought to you by Scotiabank, proud supporter of over 5,000 community hockey teams and Canada's 5th season.
Unable to serenade the one he loves, Mumble the Penguin uses his fancy footwork to woo her. Robin Williams and Elijah Wood star in the animated musical Happy Feet tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on CBC. Craig, welcome back to the Scotiabank Saddledome. You know, Flames fans are happy with the way that first period went. Not so much for Oilers fans. 3 Calgary goals in a span of 1 minute and 40 seconds in the opening period.
Yeah, I think if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan, you're hoping that this team, a little bit of a break away from the game, would have a chance to press the reset button. But it seems that adversity, the bad breaks, a puck off the foot of Leon Draisaitl into Joe Colborne, one off the stick of David Perron, Johnny Gaudreau, and then a killer 16 seconds later. And even Johnny Gaudreau missed the puck there, and it still goes in. That's the end of Victor Fost's night. 3 goals on 6 shots, and in comes Ben Scrivens. Right now an opportunity, though, going on the road against the Calgary team that was very physical, out hitting the Edmonton Oilers 24-7 in that first. That's a good first period, knowing that you got a 6-game homestand for the Calgary Flames.
Oilers a chance to start the second to get some momentum going in their direction on the power play. Byron Offer tripping at the 20-minute mark, and the Oilers trying to go to work in the offensive zone. Eberle down low. Works the puck to Nugent Hopkins. Back to Hunt. Just kept it onside. Taylor Hall now will set up on the right side. Nugent Hopkins back to Hall, to the line to Hunt. Fakes the shot over to Eberle. Eberle's pass deflects right to Brody. He'll fire it down the ice. Scrivens will leave it behind the net for Brad Hunt. Works the puck towards the line. Lead pass to Eberle. Down the wing into the zone. Watched by Granlund. Eberle one-hands it around the boards, but nobody at the point. That'll clear the zone back to the Edmonton end. Schultz goes back. Colborne watching. Yakupov takes control. Well, Yakupov leaves the puck. Justin Schultz onto it there. Ahead to Yakupov. Carries in. Cuts to the middle on the backhand. Drops it back to the line to Schultz. Down low. Draisaitl couldn't get the shot through. It was blocked by Wideman. He partially fanned. The Flames able to clear.
You know, Draisaitl was going to the net hard, looking for a rebound there. I think he expected Schultz to take a shot. He'd get any rebound, go into the slot area, and that pass just handcuffed him.
Here's Yakupov back in with a wire around to the other side. Petrie trying to get there. Cuts off the clear out attempt. Puck bounces to Wideman. Flames defenseman feeds it up the board. Stajan able to tip it past Schultz all the way down the ice with 27 seconds left in this Edmonton power play. Second of the night for the Oilers. Here goes David Perron to Hall. Picks it up off the boards with a shot. Tries to squeeze that under the arm of Hiller, but he's able to hang on.
One thing up the middle here, you could see the play by Schultz, an opportunity with Perron in front, and instead he tried to force a pass to Draisaitl. Wideman did a nice job of sliding across to take advantage of it. For Draisaitl, I think he had his sights set on driving to the net, hoping to get lucky.
Oilers win the draw back to the line, but it's poked out by Boma. And that should pretty much do it for the power play. One last rush with a man advantage, but they can't get it in. Fain follows up. Drops it off just inside the line as the penalty comes to an end. Arcabello with a shot. Nice stop by Hiller in traffic. Able to kick that away. Best chance for the Oilers came just as the penalty expired. The one shot on goal with a man advantage. That rush broken up at the line. TJ Brody got it back. Drops it off in his own zone to Mark Giordano. And they've been a pairing since day one this season. And they've played extremely well together as Brody feeds it ahead, and there's Johnny Gaudreau. 2 goals tonight. Hat trick last game. Turns just inside the line. Pass deflects. And it's cleared out by Gordon. Flames get it back. Gaudreau dumps it in. Came into the game trailing Philip Forsberg by 5 points in the rookie points race. Derek Englund drops it off to Diaz. Flames chip it in. Scrivens out of the goal. Plays it behind the net. Left bomb in the corner, battling with Gaudreau. Hoodler in there trying to fish the puck free. Got it out front. Granlund's shot deflected across. Gaudreau couldn't get a stick on it.
The way he's been going, you almost expect that one to lay flat for him, don't you?
Yeah, everything he touches turns to gold. Last few games anyway for Johnny Gaudreau.
And once again, Yuri Hoodler is sneaky quick. He gets a good active stick in there and turns the puck over.
Speaking of turnovers, the Oilers almost cough it up. Clear the zone. Fain regroups. Left bomb off the boards. Pinizzato tipped it in. Not deep. Monahan gets back to it. 3.5 minutes gone, second period. As David Jones chips the puck in. Glenn Cross after it. Jones onto it now in the corner. Throws a shot off the wall. That never got through. Blocked by Nugent Hopkins. Puck comes back to the line. Giordano with a shot. Tipped wide. Didn't miss by much. Here's Brody, can't keep it onside, hopped off his stick out to center. Sean Monahan carries in. Lost the puck for a second, offside called on Calgary at the blue line.
Break the ice with Icebreakers, official mint of the NHL.
Well, after killing off that early penalty, the Calgary Flames taking right back at it. They stay aggressive, they get it in on you defensively and forcing the Edmonton Oilers D to make some plays under pressure. And every time that they collapse back to forwards down to the net, they use their points very effectively to get chances as well.
Here's Hall cutting it over the line, gets the pass across to Schultz, back out front. Colborne broke it up. But they can't get it out. Nugent Hopkins kept it onside with a shot. Glove save, Hillard. And he hangs on.
And one criticism of Justin Schultz in his year this year is not shooting the puck enough. We saw earlier the opportunity to get it to the net with Draisaitl going there. Once again, you've got Eberle in front. A little too much of a hesitation allows the defender to get down and make the block. Nuge with a little bit of a quick wrister. And that's the give and go between Schultz and Nugent Hopkins, using that effectively.
Oilers now out shooting the Flames 10-9. Edmonton wins the draw. Schultz plays the puck to the boards. Perron's tied up, and Goodrow gets it out to Hoodler. He couldn't take the pass. Puck comes to an open wing. Schultz took a bump from Granlund. Oilers get it in. Perron down the boards. Battling with Wideman. Perron, good move off the wall. Got it out front. Chopped wide by Arcabello. Nice play by David Perron, but Arcabello couldn't get it on goal as Goodrow carries out to Hoodler. He's checked. Wideman steals back. Carries in. Dennis Wideman plays the puck around the boards. Andrew Ferentz over to it. He has room to work it to the line and out. Rolling puck. Knocked off his stick. Goodrow takes control of the neutral zone. End of his shift. Backhands it into his own end and heads off on a change as Chris Russell carries through center. Russell cuts across the blue line. Looking for Boma. Puck goes behind the net. Scrivens out to chip it to Petrie in the corner. And here goes Draisaitl through center ice. Leon Draisaitl feeds it in right side. This Pitlick with a pass. Derek Englund takes the puck. Former Penguin puts it off the boards and out to center. Hunt settles it down, drops it off to Schultz. Now Yakupov. Nail Yakupov. 1 point his last 19 games. Got the puck on the left side to Draisaitl. Long shot steered away. Pitlick puts it behind the net. And we've got a penalty coming up here. It's a high sticking call. Yakupov got clipped. The Flames going back to the penalty box.
Well, a couple of shifts in a row where the Oilers were able to get the puck deep. It started with a David Perron shift taking it to the net. That time Yakupov doing the same, and Derek Englund just got himself tied up a little bit, got the errant stick, and another opportunity to get back in the game for the Edmonton Oilers. And you see as Yakupov going to the net there, puck went by Englund and he got the stick up into Yakupov's face.
2 minutes to Englund, third power play of the game for the Oilers, 0-4-2 so far. The one shot on goal, their two chances. They try to set it up here. Hunt works the puck into the corner, turns back up the boards, gets it to Nugent Hopkins. Over to Eberle. Eberle down low. Here's Purcell right out front. That shot deflected wide by Brody. Eberle gets it on the other side to Hall. Taylor Hall skates back to the line with a wrister, and that goes off the stick of Monahan. The puck goes out of play.
Well, one of the things that has been up and down this year for the Calgary Flames has been their penalty killing. You see, not in the desirable fashion. They've been able to get away with it with getting opportunistic goals. They've had some third period comebacks more than any other team, but you can bet that Bob Hartley down the stretch here as it comes to January wants to improve that penalty kill.
Here's Hall back at the line, across to Hunt to Hall. Taylor Hall down the boards with a shot. That's stopped by Hiller. Good position. Puck still loose. They chop away. Comes across to Monahan, and he clears the zone. One thing that's helped out the penalty kill, Craig, is that they've only been shorthanded coming to the game tonight 90 times, second fewest in the NHL. Back to the line, Hunt. Across to Hall. Turns along the boards, back to Hunt. Long shot, stopped by Hiller. Big rebound. Boma's there, put it off the stick of Hall, and that puck goes out to center ice. Thought it was headed out of play, but it stays in play. Monahan, Giordano, shorthanded, couldn't pull the trigger on the shot. Lead pass, looking for Yakupov, but Brody cut it off. Here's Brody back in. Brody making moves. Brody shoots up high on scrimmage and makes the save. The Oilers settle it down. A crazy series on a penalty kill for the Flames.
And they have one chance for the Oiler power play, and then two defensemen jumping up. First was Giordano, and then Brody with a nice pickoff pass. Yakupov thought he might have had a breakaway. Instead, a great chance at the other end.
25 seconds left in the Englund penalty. Justin Schultz through center ice. Smooth skating defenseman over the line. Feeds it down low for Petrie, who's in deep. Leaves the puck in the corner for Draisaitl. Back to Schultz. Schultz across to Perron. Petrie. Back to Draisaitl. Checked by Russell. Russell off the boards. Colborne gets control. And that'll do it. 2 shots on goal in that power play for the Oilers. They're 0 for 3. Flames still up 3-0. 7.5 minutes gone, second period. Here goes Petrie wheeling through center. Plays it deep. He gets after it himself. Checked by Giordano down low. Mark Giordano, the Flames captain, ahead to Granlund. Dumps the puck in for Jones. Jones gives chase. Scrivens able to sweep it away from him. Taylor Hall takes control, circles his own net. Gives the puck to Petrie behind the goal.
That was a great example of Mark Giordano's ability to break up a play defensively and turn it on a quick transition.
Cabello gets it out to center ice to Pitlick, who's checked by Glencross. Flames have been the more physical team by a wide margin in this game. They dump it in. Calgary changes. Clefbaum, lead pass. Hendricks tips it across on the right side to Pitlick with a shot. Stick saved by Hiller. Diaz rebound. He takes a hit by Hendricks. Here's Arcabello trying to cut out front. Back to Fane with a shot from the point that never got through. Blocked by Diaz. Colborne finds Paul Byron. Stops just inside the line. Mason Raymond along the boards. Raymond trying to work it down low. Backhand pass deflected off the outside of the post. Clefbaum watching Colborne. Colborne winds up with the puck. Clefbaum has dropped the stick. Joe Colborne twisting and turning. Back to the line to Russell. Russell's shot blocked. Two Oilers, both Oilers defenders have no stick. Fane and Clefbaum are stickless. Raymond gets the puck. Back towards the line. Staging. Wideman with room. Wideman shoots. Stopped by Scrivens. And he wisely hangs on for a faceoff. 10:46 left, second period. Flames still lead 3-0 on the Oilers. Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Craig, it's not very often you see both defensemen lose their sticks.
No, you see that Oscar Clefbaum, his stick broke on the left there. Mark Fane got his knocked out, but none of the forwards, 3 forwards on the ice, not reacting. You can see Hendricks doesn't give Clefbaum the stick. Originally, Fane ends up back at the net. And fortunately for the Oilers, Scrivens able to hold on, but just a disjointed connection between the D and the forwards with the 2 Ds standing stickless.
Flames still up 3-0. All 3 goals coming in that minute 40-second span of the first period. Loose puck in the circle. Stage and bats it to the boards, but Hendricks able to pick it up. Finds Pinizzato at center ice. Chips it in. Steve Pinizzato after it with a bit of room. Works it behind the net. Took a bump in the corner from Rafael Diaz. Pinizzato got it back. One-timer. Hendricks steered aside by Hiller. Pinizzato back along the boards. Fourth line for the Oilers trying to generate something here. Flames get it to the line. Ferris kept it on side with a shot. That's deflected off Gordon wide. Eric Englund to it. Boyd Gordon battling with Englund. Staging comes over, fishes the puck out. Finds Brandon Bollig. Bollig chips it ahead. He'll get after it himself. Bollig on the backhand with a shot. Turned aside by Scrivens. Steers that into the corner. Bob Hartley felt Brandon Bollig played his best game as a Flame against the LA Kings last game.
Yeah, I thought a big hit, turned it around. He knocked Kopitar on his rear end, and Carter retaliated, took a penalty on the power play. Johnny Gaudreau scored, and that cued the comeback.
Had a crossbar in that game too. TJ Brody in his own zone ahead. Hoodler tipped it in. Granlund on the forecheck. Clefbaum back. Granlund ties up Clefbaum. They battle down low. Hoodler comes in to help out. Clefbaum winds up with a puck up the boards. Got it off the stick of Gaudreau and out to center ice. Past the midway mark of the second. Hoodler puts it back in for Calgary as Fane heads back. Gaudreau on his tail. Nice play by Fane. Finds Nugent Hopkins out to Taylor Hall at center ice with Eberle, who takes the pass. Eberle with a shot off the stick of Giordano, and that puck goes out of play. 9:06 to go. Second period. Brandon Bollig trying to make a move around Ferentz. Couldn't get a shot on goal. Flames still lead by 3.
Time now for our Budweiser red light scoreboard, and it was Gus Nyfus with the game winner in Ottawa, 3-2 for Detroit. Lou Lamoriello, first game behind the bench, and he still loses to the Rangers, a 3-1 final. The Jets win in overtime 4-3 over the Minnesota Wild, and I can tell you this, Nashville Predators beat the Philadelphia Flyers 4-1, and Philip Forsberg 2 points in that, so he remains 5 points ahead of Johnny Gaudreau. Rick?
All right, thanks, Cassie. Get the update there on the rookie scoring race.
That'll be a great Calder race, won't it? The way it's shaping up early. And Ekblad living up to expectations as well.
Here's Gaudreau looking for a hat-trick goal, but he put that wide. So he has 5 goals in his last 3 games. Give away to Hudler along the boards. Back out front for Gaudreau. Hudler gets it back. There's a pass to Granlund. It escapes. Bounces to Scrimmage, who covers up as this line continues to pressure offensively.
Well, Bob Hartley really likes what this line's been able to accomplish. They complement each other so well. The heads-up backhand pass comes right back to Hudler, but the hot pass through the seam is just a little much for Granlund. Got into his feet, wasn't able to hold it. But this trio talking a lot on the bench, talking on the ice, and communicating well, and boy, they've been effective.
Off the draw, Yakupov overskates the puck at the line. Joe Colborne keeps it onside. Back to the line for Engelland. Across, one-timer. Diaz up high on Scrimmage. Took it off the shoulder awkwardly as the Oilers clear the rebound out. Yakupov races onto it. Nail Yakupov with a long shot. Bobbled rebound by Hiller. Colborne's there to clear the zone. That'll go for an icing call on Calgary.
Well, too often we've talked about the Oilers not able to get a big save from their team to get momentum. Well, there's as big as it's going to get. A one-timer over to Diaz, good quick puck movement. The reaction by Scrivens, feels it right on the top of the shoulder. Knew he wasn't going to be able to get it with his glove, but made sure he got the elbow and shoulder up high enough to make the save.
Nugent Hopkins against Joe Colborne in the draw. Oilers win the faceoff. Eberle gets it to Hall. Back to the line to Schultz. Cross to Hunt, bobbled the pass. Got it back behind the net for Eberle. Watched by Engelland. Hall gets control. Eberle. Nugent Hopkins back for Hall. He would have had a lane to the net, but the pass didn't connect. Nugent Hopkins gets the puck in the corner. Back to Hunt at the line. Across to Schultz with a long shot. That's blocked by Diaz. He pokes it ahead to Raymond, and Mason Raymond clears the zone. Byron races onto it. Paul Byron. Nugent Hopkins hustles back. Byron by himself. Line mates changing. Monahan off the bench, gets to the puck on the far side. To the line to Giordano. Shot blocked. Off Eberle and out the center.
That was an important shift for the pairing of Engelland and Diaz there. They got caught on the icing. Todd Nilsson tries to get the top line out against them, and both had some good battles down low to keep that top line of the Oilers at bay.
Approaching the 13-minute mark of the second. Oilers out shooting Calgary 16-12. Here comes Pitlick over the line, but Yakupov, anxious, steps in offside. Well, enjoy performances by Canada's top figure skaters, including Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer, Patrick Chan, Kurt Browning, and Joannie Rochette. Don't miss Stars on Ice, Monday night, 8 o'clock on CBC.
You know, it's interesting, Rick, you mentioned the fact the Oilers out shooting the Calgary Flames. During this losing streak, it hasn't been like they typically have been getting outshot every game. They just haven't been able to get the big save percentage well under 890.
There's Jones with a shot. That deflects off the stick of Ferris, missed the net.
Only 3 of the games have been 35-plus shots against. It's just they haven't been able to generate enough offense and haven't been able to get a defensive stalwart effort when they've needed it.
Draisaitl overskates a bouncing puck, and here's Blaine Cross, who blows a tire. Draisaitl brings it in with a shot off the wing that never got through, blocked by Weidman. Yakupov behind the net. Nail Yakupov, nobody out front now. Draisaitl goes there, puck never got there, blocked by Hiller, got his stick down. Staging carries to center. He'll dump it in and give chase. It's Ferris down low. Lance Bowman to it. Bollig off the boards with a shot out front for Stage and never got there. Deflected away by Petrie. Cleared out by Hendricks. Eric Engelland races back to it ahead of Pinizzotto. Engelland trying to feed it up the boards. That's cut off. Bollig comes in to help. Knocked away from him to Pinizzotto. Back to the line for Hunt. Hunt's forced to the boards. Feeds it back to Matt Hendricks. Across to Justin Schultz. High slot, Gordon shot blocked. Another block. This one was Monahan getting in the way, and the Flames clear the zone.
They've seen a good example why they lead the league in block shots. Every time the Oilers have a split second where they can get a seam, they've done a nice job, both the forwards and the defense, getting in the lanes. Another thing, Rick, is so frustrating to play against defensively. This team collapses back to the front of the net. The Oilers down low trying to take it to Hiller. I almost think they need to maybe use the points a little bit more effectively. There doesn't seem to be much room down there. Watch all the red sweaters react to the puck behind the net. There's just no way of getting into that slot area. 5 guys in good position. And after yet another icing, Bob Hartley wisely here with a 3-0 lead. 5:40 left in the period. Don't leave anything to chance.
Yeah, those 5 skaters have been out there for a while too, a little out of gas, so they call the timeout now. Give those guys a breather. 3-0 Calgary leading. Johnny Gaudreau 2 goals. Joe Colborne with the other, all in the first period.
And another guy I think is a real important game for is Jonas Hiller.
Yep.
You think of how well he started the season, went on a real hot stretch going 9-2-1. He's only got 1 win out of his last 8 games. And to come in here on a homestand, you know the competition Bob Hartley has created with Kari Ramo and Hiller. It gives an opportunity. You're Hiller in the net here on this first game of the homestand. You don't want to give it back, do you? And he's done a good job so far keeping it.
6 start in the last 7 games for Hiller. He stopped all 17 shots he's faced so far. There's a shot off the boards that missed the net, bounces back to Clefbaum. Puts it intentionally wide around to the other side, but Boley gets to it first. Lifts it high and out. Goes off Payne into the Calgary bench for a whistle. 5:26 to go, second period. Flames still up 3-0 on the Oilers. It's Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Many Oilers commented on how the Christmas break would be a nice time to get away from the controversy that has been abundant this year, but Andrew Ference, the captain, was quite adamant that wins are the only thing that's going to change things. He said there's no need at a professional level to need a few days off to get your game in order. It's nice to get away, but it's not what is needed to turn the season around or get a player's game in round. Now, Craig McTavish this morning did the media because Todd Nelson was stuck in airplane traffic, and he said that he thought he was hoping the break would actually be beneficial, but I guess hoping and doing for the Oilers right now are 2 different things. Rick?
Thank you, Cassie. Andrew Ference, 14th captain in the history of the Edmonton Oilers.
The saying is, Rick, there's only 2 things in hockey. There's winning and misery, and there's been a lot of misery in the last 25, 30 games for this Edmonton Oilers team.
They just got to find a way to get it going in the right direction and build off that momentum, not just in terms of games, but shifts. Yuri Hudler puts the puck in. Granlund on the forecheck. Scrivens plays that to the corner. Hudler pokes it back down low for Granlund. Now Gaudreau. Hudler out front. Gaudreau knocked down. Weidman pinches. Couldn't get the puck. Oilers could have a 2-on-1 as Purcell takes off. Teddy Purcell drops it off. David Perron gets to it. Off the outside of the post, Perron gets it behind the net. Chris Russell battling with Perron. David Perron maintains control. Up to the outside, puts it behind the goal. Weidman gets back to it. Drops it off for his partner, Chris Russell. Bank pass for Gaudreau late in the shift. Deflects to Hudler. Flames start a change. Oilers control the puck. Justin Schultz ahead to Hall. Hunt joins Hall in the rush. Hunt works it in down the wing. Hunt with a shot. Hiller makes the save. No rebound as he hangs on. Enjoy performances by Canada's top figure skaters, including Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer, Patrick Chan, Kurt Browning, and Joanny Rochette. Don't miss Stars on Ice, Monday night, 8 o'clock on CBC. 4:08 to go, second period. This is something the Flames haven't done much of late. Play with a lead.
Yeah, they usually wait for the third period, don't they?
That's kind of the way it's been going, although it's not a recipe for long-term success as Calgary ices the puck, but they've already burned their time out.
Yeah, you know, it is difficult. You say so much, you get up to a 3-0 lead, and we've often called it one of the worst leads in hockey is one little bad bounce can get the game back going in your opponent's direction, and then you got to get that intensity that you had early in the game. You think it's really been a minute 40 that's been the difference in this hockey game. That's all 3 goals in that span. Other than that, it's been fairly even.
Yeah, 18-12 edging shots on goal for the Oilers. There's a shot by Petrie that didn't get Farouk deflected off a stick over top of the net.
And that's what drives coaches crazy, is just the attention to little details. Don't let one mistake turn into three, and in this case, a couple of mistakes turned into 3 early goals.
Here's Eberle, top line out for the Oilers. Eberle behind the net for Nugent Hopkins, broken up by Jones. Giordano tag teamed in the corner, but Jones able to clear the zone off the boards and out. Flames will change. Justin Schultz in his own end. Long pass, Draisaitl tipped it in. TJ Brodie races back to it. Took a hit from Pitlick. Spins off the hit. Brodie still with the puck. Found Colborne along the boards. Back to Brodie, and he hits Byron. Paul Byron, Mason Raymond. Two guys are going to really skate. Raymond has to wait for that puck. Puts it down low for Byron. Checked by Ferentz, and a good play by the Oilers captain. Pitlick gets control. Plays it to an open wing at center ice. Bounces off the boards to Raymond, who chips it in. Brad Hunt back. Nail Yakupov takes control. To Hunt behind the net. Now Ferentz off the glass. Off the shoulder of Pitlick and back to the Calgary end. Diaz headed there. Hard around, misses everybody. No, it didn't. Took a nice bounce off the boards to Bollig. Bollig returned past the stage and tried a shot that's blocked. Puck bomb down the way. Yakupov takes the puck. Leaves it in the corner. Draisaitl now. Long pass. Yakupov trying to catch up to it. Russell beats him to the puck. Derek Englund, head up, skates it out. Brandon Bollig down the middle of the line with a shot off the leg of Payne into the corner. Puck bounces to the blue line. Bollig trying to keep it in, can't. Hendricks to Pinizzato. Steve Pinizzato chips and chases. Weidman behind the net, took a bump, put the puck to the corner for Bollig. Hendricks battling hard, steals it back. Matt Hendricks puts it behind the net to Pinizzato. Bank pass to Schultz at the line. Pressured by Boma, who steals. Knocked off his stick, but the puck comes outside the zone as the Oilers regroup with their own blue line. Inside 2 minutes to go, the second period. David Perron carries in. Schultz out front. Shot! Hiller hangs on. Perron pulled the trigger off the wing. Jonas Hiller makes the save.
Another strong save by Hiller, and I mentioned coming into that Los Angeles game, hadn't won in 7. And when you let an early bad goal in like that, you wonder what your team will do to react and how you can react to change it. He did. He came on, and his team fought away to get back and win that Los Angeles game. In this game, already 19 shots, 19 saves for Hiller, and he looked sharp and on top of his game.
Off the draw, the Flames control. Brodie, bank pass out the center for Hoodler, doesn't connect. Petrie back to it. Chased out from behind the net by Goodrow. Petrie makes the pass to Purcell, who works it in. Purcell turns just inside the line, and then flips it off the boards behind the net. Took a bounce right under the stick of Arcabello, but he lost control as he tried to cut out front. Flames cleared. Oilers have to tag up as Hiller will leave that behind the net. Here goes Goodrow. Johnny Goodrow through center. Lead pass carried in by Granlund with a shot. And it goes off the stick of Ferentz and out of play.
When you think of the importance of this season for Brian Burke and company trying to get this Calgary team back into the playoffs, I don't think they would have necessarily expected the way that they were able to win early on. The 7 come from behind wins in the third period. But if nothing else, this team has been able to develop a real sense of confidence and calm, and we're seeing it on display here.
Here's Russell cutting to the slot with a shot. That deflected off Nugent Hopkins wide. Final minute of play in the period. Brad Hunt, bank pass over to Ferentz on the other side. Eberle, nice play to Nugent Hopkins. He did a good job to lift the stick of Jones and work the puck in. Behind the net to Jordan Eberle. Lost control of it, but it comes to Nugent Hopkins. Now Taylor Hall. Hall passes to Ferentz with a shot. Another block. Glencross got in the way of that one. Eberle's pass to the line to Hunt. Just kept it onside. Brad Hunt around to Hall. It's checked by Russell. Eberle kept it onside. Russell goes to it behind the goal. Up the near boards to Jones. Hunt pitches. Puck comes free to Weidman. He'll bring it out with 15 seconds left in the period. Weidman, Monahan. Monahan shot blocked by Ferentz. Monahan and Ferentz are all tied up. Nugent Hopkins takes it away. Over to Hall with time. Hall long shot. Pad save Hiller. Rebound cleared to the corner by Brodie, and that'll do it for the second period of play. So after 40 minutes, Calgary Flames still lead the Oilers 3-0. All the scoring in the first period. Coming up at the intermission, George Stroumboulopoulos and the panel.
This period brought to you by the all-new 2015 Sonata with available forward collision warning from Hyundai.
Welcome back to Calgary for the start of the third period. The Oilers out shooting the Flames 20-12, but find themselves down 3-0 after 2. And welcome inside the Scotiabank Saddledome. I can give you a small update on Sam Bennett, the Calgary Flames forward who had shoulder surgery October 14th. He spent the month of November here in Calgary, has gone home for the Christmas holidays, will be returning to Calgary in about 2 weeks' time with her work with Kent Kabalka, and maybe resume skating with trainer Ryan Van Asten. Let's go upstairs to Craig Simpson and Rick Ball.
All right, thank you, Cassie. Calgary Flames perfect 8-0-0 when leading after 2 periods this season. Oilers are 0-17-1 when trailing, but a better second period for the Oilers. They outshot Calgary 13-3 as the Flames dump it in. Perron's back to it. Arcobello on the boards, trying to drop it off. Got it to Perron. And it's brought out to center by Arcobello, who gave it away at the line to Dennis Wideman. Johnny Gaudreau, 6 goals his last 3 games. Dumps it in, heads off on a change. Taylor Hall works the puck out. Hall finds a bit of room. Cross-ice pass for Hunt. Picks it up off the boards. He'll play it behind the net for Hall, into the corner for Eberle. On the other side for Hall. Hall's sharp angle off the arm of Hiller. Makes the save. Puck finally carried to center by Monahan. Ahead for Glencross. A little too far. Schultz got there first. Hunt. Hall tipped it in. Bouncer. Oilers start a change. Giordano goes back with time. Mark Giordano ahead to Mason Raymond. Raymond cuts wide. On his off wing with a shot, and Scrimmage makes the save and hangs on.
Well, here's the challenge of what lies ahead for the Edmonton Oilers against this Calgary team. The third period, by far their best. Tied with the Montreal Canadiens for most goals. Most impressive, as you mentioned, the 7 wins after trailing and have yet to lose. So Edmonton, despite outshooting the Flames 13-3, didn't get anything going offensively in that second. Need an early momentum swing here in the third.
Yakupov works the puck in down the wing with a shot. Weidman gets his stick in the way and steers that out of play.
I think right now in this kind of situation, you got to get pucks to the net and look for second and third chances. It's something that the Flames have been able to do, is box out in front of the net. So the Edmonton Oilers, even with those 13 shots, Rick, they weren't able to get those second and third chances, which are the most dangerous.
Weidman getting a new stick from the bench. Joe Colborne facing off against Draisaitl. Colborne wins the draw. Raymond at center, checked by Petrie, plays the puck back in, right to Chris Russell. And Russell ahead to Colborne. Tied up by Petrie. Dennis Weidman back to the puck. Finds Bollig, who fires it in. And we're going to see a lot of that here as the Flames protect the 3-goal lead. Hunt took a hit. Stajan came flying in and threw his body at the defenseman. Hunt winds up with the puck and feeds it across.
You heard Andrew Ference talk about how easy it is to play when you're down by 3, to play so aggressively. Interesting to see how Calgary plays here up by 3. They've had their best third periods when they've been trying to come from behind. See if they can keep the pedal down.
Yeah, unusual territory for the Flames. As the Oilers work it through the neutral zone, Matt Hendricks tries a shot blocker saved by Hiller. Bounces around, Diaz takes control. An interesting year last year, Rafa Diaz did. Started his season in Montreal. Got traded to Vancouver for a half-dozen games and finished up with the Rangers.
And you know how frustrated he was here early on, and Bob Hartley often talks about players just being ready. You don't know how quickly times are going to change. Ladislav Smid goes down with an injury. Diaz gets an opportunity to play, so you can't sulk when you're not in.
Got to be ready. Scooped up by Hiller, and he hangs on for a whistle. Well, an all-new edition of Air Force New Year's Eve has the gang taking on and sending up the biggest stories of 2014. Justin Trudeau, Amber Marshall, and Vikram Vij guest star Wednesday, 8 o'clock on CBC. Monahan against Arcabello on the draw. Weidman circles the net. Back for Monahan. Can't handle the pass. Perron feeds it behind the goal. Hiller out to play it. Russell up the boards, but Goodrow tips it past the point. Back to the Oilers' end. Oscar Klefbom back. 18th overall pick in 2011. Feeds it ahead to Teddy Purcell. Purcell with a shot. That didn't miss by much. Going far side on Hiller and just wide of the goalpost. Granlund back in for Calgary. On the right side for Jones with a shot. Kick save by Scrivens. David Perron onto the puck. Now Andrew Ferentz back for Perron. Jones almost stole it. Ferentz recovers. Justin Schultz. Nugent Hopkins. Bank pass to Eberle. Eberle gets the puck behind the net. Leaves it in the corner for Taylor Hall. Poke checked on a good play by Monahan, who wires the puck around the boards. Kept on side by Schultz. Bouncing. Glenn Cross can't get it out. Giordano plays it off the board. Schultz kept it in again. Here's Eberle with Hall. Hall trying to work it to the front of the goal. Knocked off the stick. Ferentz kept it onside. Eberle back to Hall. Nugent Hopkins out front. Eberle in the corner. To the point to Ferentz. Across to Schultz. Good shift for the Oilers. Schultz with a shot. They score. Tipped out front. 5-0 on Hiller. And the Oilers are on the board.
That's how quickly the momentum can swing. And this line for the Edmonton Oilers put back together. Nugent Hopkins, Hall, and Eberle haven't really been able to get much generated, but it's one thing they've needed to do is use the points. 2 quick passes, watch the front of the net, and Mark Giordano there off of stick, maybe his and Nugent Hopkins. Schultz with his head up, gets it past the first block, and a double deflection off of Russell, and then Giordano right through the legs of Jonas Hiller.
It may have gone off the skate of Giordano at the end there, Craig. Wait for the official call, but it looks like it's... Oh, not sure yet. Hiller's gone to the bench meantime.
He's looking at his skate, maybe lost a strap towards there, but mentioned the danger of that 3-0 lead. It's something when you get in that first period, when you get the push to get the lead, you're playing with such intensity and then you've let off. Schultz never once looks at the puck. A little deflection there and off the stick of Nugent Hopkins to me in front. Giordano got a piece of it as well, but a heads-up play. That's the area we were talking about earlier. You get to that tough area, get body position, get pucks through. One of the few times that the Flames were not able to get that block.
So they give the goal to Nugent Hopkins. You're right, Craig. It's his 10th of the season, and we'll see what the Oilers can do here. Get some momentum going. The Flames have been sitting on this lead for a while. Edmonton's cut the lead to 2, and a long way to go in the third. Purcell down low. Perron's out front. Turns to the boards. Perron. Arcabello. Back to the corner. Purcell fanned on his pass, but he gets the puck back along the boards. Perron can't handle that one. Granlund chops it off the wall. Now Perron works the puck to the high slot. Retreats to the blue line. David Perron puts it off the wall. Down low for Arcabello. Battling with Weidman. Goodrow comes in to help out. Johnny Goodrow lifts the puck to safety off the hand of Klefbom into the Edmonton zone as the Flames start a change.
I guarantee you Bob Hartley behind that Calgary bench trying to rev the engines of his team up, so you got to have a couple of hard shifts here, get the puck back in the other end.
Yakupov puts it in. Engelland's there. Fires it around and out. Raymond trying to get after it. Petrie there first for the Oilers. Long lead pass to nobody. Intercepted by Diaz. Petrie gets it back as Diaz gives it to him. Drops it off. Justin Schultz. Bank pass. You can see the extra jump in the step of the Oilers. Now they're on the board. Miller's out of the goal. Plays it around. Pitlick cut it off on the far side. Engelland broke his stick. His own stick. Chopping at Pitlick. Derek Engelland doesn't have a stick. Oilers with pressure. Draisaitl fed it down low. Yakupov wrap around. Hiller now makes the save. And he's able to cover up for a whistle with 14:01 to go in the third period. Let's head downstairs. Here's Cassie.
Thanks very much, Rick. In time for a Budweiser Red Light scoreboard. Nyquist the winner in Ottawa. Detroit beats Ottawa 3-2. Andrew Ladd, the game winner in overtime, 4-3 over the Minnesota Wild. And I can tell you that Anze Kopitar has the go-ahead so far goal for the LA Kings versus the San Jose Sharks. Rick?
Flames lead down to 3-1 here in the third as Brody retreats in behind his own net. Bounces across the blue line. Eberle Fires it to Hall. Schultz jumps up on the play. Hall works it back to the line. Taylor Hall with speed. Top of the circle with a shot off the outside of the net. Petrie gets to it, took a hit, coughed it up, and then tripped up David Jones. And the Oilers will be shorthanded as Petrie got the hook on Jones. And the Flame will be a slashing call on Petrie. The Flames going on the power play. 13:37 left in the third. Calgary up 3-1 on the Oilers. Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Jeff Petrie in the box. Here's why.
Well, when you're down by 2 and you're on your toes, you're thinking offense. A shot by Taylor Hall goes wide, 3 Oiler forwards deep. So Petrie, as he went in for the pinch and the puck went by him, got the stick down and gets called for the hat. This will be an interesting time for this Flames power play, though, Rick. They've been sitting back. They've been outshot badly since the first, and you wonder if they can bring the intensity level up here and try to put this game away.
The Oilers have a 16-5 edge in shots since the first period. Now the Flames go to work. Second power play of the game. Goodrow to Brody. Brody to Giordano. Big kill for the Oilers. Giordano down low for Colborne. Got it up front. Clifford chops away. Scrimmage down, and he's able to hang on.
This is a tough play for Colborne down low, as he's got a couple of options. You maybe try to sneak back door to Johnny Gaudreau going down low. He wants it to the outside, goes to his backhand, and a hard work play by Scrivens to find the puck. Colborne had 2 whacks at it, went for the back pass, couldn't get it, but when he's on his rear end, he almost bats that one through the 5-hole on Scrivens.
Face-off win for Hendricks, but the Flames battle to get it back. Hoodler along the boards. Colborne back to the line to Giordano, across to Brody. Brody, wrist shot, off the outside of the net. Goodrow down low, lost the puck. He was checked by Klefbom. Fane hustles to the corner. Giordano pinches from the point. Rolling puck, Goodrow fanned on the pass. It's corralled by Fane, who fires it down the ice. Minute 15 to go on the Calgary power play. Joe Colborne ahead to Giordano. In and around, Scrivens cut it off. Barris gets control. Nice play to Brad Hunt, and he finds room and clears. Second unit coming out for the Flames. Weidman back for it. 55 seconds left in the Petrie penalty. Dennis Weidman out of the zone. Softly slides it into Glencroft. Turns along the boards. Falls, makes a play back to Russell. Russell, Monahan with a shot, deflected. Hunt gets the puck and clears.
That was good aggressive penalty killing there. A nice break in by the Calgary Flames. Got the passes they wanted back to the point, but no time or space left by the penalty kill.
Raymond leaves it at the line for Russell. Across to Weidman. Room, shot, stopped by Scrivens. Rebound, Scrivens down. Another shot off the crossbars. Monahan clanked that off iron. The puck goes out of play.
This is all about speed and controlling the break-in. Something that the Flames practice every morning skate is this scenario, a little bump back on the entry. You can see it creates some time and space. Good hard shot. Scrivens down, good patience there, and Monahan, the dreaded sound of hitting the crossbar and out. And you've got good positioning in front. Makes it a difficult task for Scrivens to find that puck and to get on that rebound. And you could see the top half of the net was there for the taking. And Monahan couldn't find the posting in, instead posting out.
So some confusion on the faceoff. Boyd Gordon was down, the trainer came out, and they're making Gordon go off now. Nugent Hopkins comes on with 18 seconds left in this Calgary power play.
Well, Gordon again is good in the faceoff dot, 67% on the night. Nugent Hopkins, 21, 3 and 11.
Early movement. Hendricks gave Goodrow a little bit of a shot. Monahan wins the draw. Weidman winds up with a shot off the blocker of Scrivens into the corner. Hoodler. Monahan kicks the puck to Hoodler. Back to the line to Russell. Russell fakes. Finds some room. Now he passes out front. Scrivens down. Makes a great save off Monahan. And covers up the rebound. And now Ference drops the gloves of Monahan. They go down in a heap. Give Ben Scrivens some credit. Matt Hendricks drags Weidman off the pile, but the Flames have had some chances, and Scrivens has had the answer in the last little bit here.
You think of some of the troubles that Scrivens has had is maybe overplaying shots and he gets out of position. This whole scrum started because the scramble was there on the doorstep, a kick save by Scrivens on Monahan, and then Ference came into the pile and took some liberties, and this is the end result. Face-off so critical, especially on the penalty kill, and it's somewhere that the Calgary Flames have been able to dominate. You can see on his forehand, Monahan beats Nugent Hopkins, goes right to the front of the net. The first good save by Scrivens, and then a rebound shot. A heads-up slap pass, one chance, two chances, and a lot of hacking and whacking going, and that's where the end result was Monahan and Ference dropping the gloves.
So they sort out the penalties. 5 each, it looks like, for Monahan and Ference. Weidman and Hendricks in the box as well. Looks like it'll all even out. Then Scrivens came in relief of Victor Fost after Fost gave up 3 goals on 6 shots. That was at the 8:48 mark of the first. Bob Hartley gets the explanation at the bench. And since then, Scrivens has stopped all 12 shots he's faced.
And I mentioned the importance of this power play for the Flames, and after a bit of a sluggish start, they got their intensity, they won their draws, they got the setup they wanted, have really pushed to try to make it a 3-goal game again. If the Oilers are able to come back, you look at maybe this penalty kill and that sequence of saves there as the opportune time to give them a chance.
So penalty over, back to 5-on-5. The penalties offset after that scrum. All roughing minors. So 2 minutes across the board. No plenty majors involved as there's a weird bounce off one of the stanchions right to Perron onto the puck. Now low for Hall. Colborne got his stick in there to break up the cycle. And Joe Colborne, Calgary native, able to work it out and dump the puck in. Scrivens out of the goal, plays the puck to Petrie, ahead to Perron. He finds Schultz. Out to Eberle. Top line coming out for Edmonton. Eberle around to Draisaitl. Actually, Eberle being double shifted here on the line with Perron and Draisaitl. After the penalty kill, Eberle gets to the puck, tipped it behind the net to the corner to Draisaitl. Fate onto it down low. Leon Draisaitl turns. There's a chance for Yakupov with a quick shot, and a nice stop by Hiller. Rebound cleared off the glass and out of play.
Well, this has been one of the more effective lines, is youngster Leon Draisaitl trying to get a frustrated Nail Yakupov on the board. This is a nice quick release. Tough play to take as a left-handed shot, getting the puck across your body. So you can see the 1-foot quick release shot that if that one was another goaltender that caught with his left hand, that might have been a tougher save. Instead, a good positional save by Hiller.
Off the drop, puck bounces right off the boards. Poked to the line and brought to center by Stajan, who has to settle it down. Swatted in by Byron. Justin Schultz goes back to it. Took a hit by Glencross. Got the puck to the near boards to Pitlick. Retreats. Hunt. Schultz. Yakupov back to Hunt. He'll bring it out. Hard pass through the middle. Draisaitl couldn't get it. Stajan plays it ahead, trying to get around Schultz. Has Glencross out front. Stajan turns. Back to the left point to Russell with a bit of room and a shot, but hustling over to block that, and a good play was Pitlick. Byron to it on the other side. To the line to Englund. Across to the point. Russell gone to the bench. Just off the bench. Giordano kept it onside. Stajan Glencross scores! Curtis Glencross restores the Flames' 3-goal lead.
This is a byproduct of an awfully long shift that started in the offensive zone for this Draisaitl line. Couldn't clear the puck, lost the battle along the boards, and watch the white sweaters. Yakupov can't win the battle down low. A bad chase behind without a good stick as Hunt takes the wrong route. Look at Stajan's got his head up the entire way. Schultz again covering no one, and deep in his net was Ben Scrivens down early. A heads-up play by Curtis Glencross to put that one up high and just under the bar.
7th of the season for Glenn Cross.
Flames goal, his 7th of the year, scored by number 20.
And the 46th third period goal this season by the Flames. As Perron puts the puck in for the Oilers.
And how many times have you seen that type of play from behind the Oiler net to a wide open player in front? It's just happened far too often, especially in the last 20 games that have really been a struggle. That coverage down low, not getting the stick in the lane, and missing the assignment in front, and the end result, another puck in the back of the net.
11 minutes gone in the third. Klefbom out of his own zone with a pass to Eberle. Nugent-Hopkins. Now that Eberle, Nugent-Hopkins haul line out there. Nugent-Hopkins puts his shoulder into Colborne and knocks it down as the puck goes into the corner. Slides towards the slot. Colborne recovers to chop that outside the line back to the Edmonton zone. But Schultz goes back to it. Pressured by Brandon Bollig. Schultz. Eberle. Gave it away to Russell. He hands it back to Eberle. Checked. Boma slides it in. Matt Stajan after it. Taylor Hall. With Justin Schultz. Up to Eberle. Out to Hall. Hall. Gordon trailing. Hall stops. Back to Hunt. His pass towards the goal never got there, and the Flames break out with numbers. David Jones. Raymond with him. Jones trying to cut around Petrie, who makes a good defensive play and stole the puck. Rafa Diaz. 8 minutes left in the third. Petrie took it away at his own line. Boyd Gordon now, head up. Gains center and flips it in wide of the goal. Diaz back. Hunt in deep. Perron behind the net. Gordon's gone out front. Pass back to Petrie with room and a shot. He partially fanned on it. It goes wide off the heel of his stick. Granlund trying to clear. Hunt kept it onside. Petrie pinches, bumping with Raymond, who makes a nice play. Finds Granlund, who brings it out. Ahead to Paul Byron. Byron stops, played it out front. Granlund tipped it just wide. Puck behind the net, winds up in the corner. Petrie's there. Pinizzotto clears. And this will go all the way down the ice. Icing call on the Oilers. An all-new edition of Air Farce New Year's Eve has the gang taking on and setting up the biggest stories of 2014. Justin Trudeau, Amber Marshall, and Vikram Fidge guest star Wednesday night, 8 o'clock on CBC. .7:12 to go in regulation. 4-1 Flames lead. Oilers cut a 3-0 lead to 2 with their only goal here in the third, Craig, but that fourth goal really snuffed out any momentum Edmonton might have built off their goal.
And after the goal, you've got a penalty here by Taylor Hall as well. So not only do the Flames get momentum back, they get a power play opportunity to really put the nail in the coffin.
And it's an unsportsmanlike penalty on Taylor Hall, so.
I think Jonas Hiller didn't even know that there was a penalty. He put his arm up to indicate icing and then looked around and go, well, why not? Well, because you're on the power play.
Glad to know I wasn't the only one in the building.
Well, there's that frustration factor, Rick. It's been that kind of year for the Edmonton Oilers, and that's the danger. You worry about your top players sensing that frustration and not being able to dig themselves out of it.
Flames are 0 for 2 with the power play tonight. 3 shots on goal. Last power play opportunity, 5 overall. Glenn Cross works the puck into Giordano. Back for Glenn Cross, trying to get it out front. Good stick by Petrie to block the pass. Hudler feeds it back. Giordano over to Brody. Slap shot, deflects. Nice glove save, Scrivens. And Ben Scrivens hangs on.
Well, it's a good save. You could just sense the body language. There's Taylor Hall, a young assistant captain for the Edmonton Oilers. A little too late here. Scrivens does a nice job of being aggressive. That one even gets tipped a little bit, and he's able to hold on. But you sense the body language for the Oilers. That last goal, just a killer for their confidence.
Scramble draw. Raymond winds up with control. Russell, Weidman, slap shot. Petrie felt that one. Jeff Petrie labors back to the bench as the Flames control their own zone.
That's a tough one, Ricky. So many defensemen rather turn sideways like that. I've never understood it. right on the side of the leg as opposed to hitting it flush on the shin pad.
Matt Hendricks, shorthanded. Good job on the penalty kill. Back to the line to Ferentz. Nugent Hopkins with a shot. That deflects wide. Hendricks trying to jam it out front. Cut off by Hiller. And taken away by Russell. Monahan finds Glenn Cross. Cuts over the line. Back for Monahan. Missed him. Raymond gets the puck in the corner. Played it to the other side. Eberle, the only man there, lifts it to the blue line and out. Final 10 seconds of the Hall penalty. Approaching the final 5 minutes of regulation.
I like the fact that Bob Hartley's been rewarding some of the third and fourth line guys a little bit more too. It hasn't been all about Johnny Gaudreau and Yuri Hudler.
There's Jones out front for Byron. Scrimmage makes the save. Puck on the goal line. Brody with a shot. Scrimmage down on his side makes the save and hangs on. Another wild scramble in the Edmonton crease, and Ben Scrimmage somehow makes that last save. 5 minutes left in the third. Another great chance for the Flames, but it's still 4-1 Calgary. Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Time now for our Budweiser Red Light scoreboard. The Capitals 3-0 over the Pittsburgh Penguins, 6-2 Columbus over the Bruins. Andrew Ladd, the game winner for Winnipeg, 4-3 over the Minnesota Wild. And Jake Muzzin, the third goal for LA over San Jose. It's now 3-1. Rick?
All right, Cassie, it's 4-1 Calgary, leading the Oilers with 5 minutes to go in the third period. Calgary scored 3 goals, took a 3-0 lead in a minute 40-second span of the first. The Oilers got one back here in the third to make it a 2-goal game. Nugent Hopkins with the tip in. Before Glenn Cross scored to restore the 3-goal lead. There's a shot from the line by Giordano through traffic, and Ben Scrivens. It's been sharp in relief of Victor Faust able to hang on.
You have to wonder here, as you saw Craig McTavish next to Todd Nilsson, how long McTavish will stay on the bench. I do know one thing from having worked for Craig. He's good at delegating responsibility and giving defined roles, and you could see it's been Todd Nilsson who's been on his own back there, but with the struggles continuing, is it time to step away and let Nilsson try to figure things out? I don't think it was something that was meant to be for too long a period, but Rick, I don't think anyone in the organization would have felt that with the change it's been much more of the same. Lots of strange things happening, and we've seen it here tonight in that 1:40 of the first period.
Another face-off win for the Flames. Back to Russell, ahead to Goodrow, who has 2 tonight. Coming off his hat trick against the Kings. Does he have another one in him? Here's Goodrow. Out front for Hooker. Pat saved by Scrivens. Nice stop by Ben Scrivens. Purcell works it in. Perron. Cuts behind the net. Chopped off his stick by Russell. Purcell out front for Nugent Hopkins. His shot blocked by Weidman. Nugent Hopkins gets it back. Down low to David Perron. Russell watching him. Andrew Ferentz. Nugent Hopkins. Purcell. Back for Ferentz. To the line for Perron, but he was over in the middle of the ice, and that slides all the way to the neutral zone. Flames have outshot the Oilers 13-5 here in the third. Giveaway to Boma on the far boards. Taylor Hall comes back to take the puck away. Hunt ran into Boma at the side of the net and went down. Meantime, Boley keeping the play alive for Calgary with a shot off the shoulder of Scrivens. Boma throws it out front, intercepted by Nugent Hopkins. Ahead to Eberle. 3 Oilers through center. Hall carries in. Eberle, backhand shot, stopped by Hiller. Rebound loose. Hiller covers up and we get a whistle. Nugent Hopkins draws a crowd as he poked away for a loose puck. Cooler heads prevail. 3:32 to go in the third. It's the Flames 4 and the Oilers 1. Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Johnny Gaudreau, 2 more goals tonight, and these are real backbreakers for the Oilers as the Flames took a 3-0 lead.
Well, you think of just how dangerous he can be, and it's a 16-second span in the first period that changed this game. Second and third goals in a game that was up for grabs. It's Johnny Gaudreau with his 12th goal of the year that I think just put the Oilers back on their heels. Just over 16 minutes, and as Bob Hartley has mentioned numerous times over the coming weeks, talking about his young stars, just it's impossible not to notice the impact he's had on this hockey club.
Yeah, 6 of those 12 goals coming in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Bob Hartley wants him to shoot more. He has 11 shots in those 3 games, so that's improving.
You know, it's interesting. It takes a little while for a young player, especially a diminutive one like Gaudreau, to take the time. First 5 games, no points, up and down, tough road. Sat for 1 game, and he's been 29 points in the last 31 games. So clearly, I think he's found his comfort level.
David Jones tips the puck in and heads off as we approach the final 3 minutes of the third. Flames have cut the shot advantage to 26-25, but lead in the most important category, and really the only one that matters, the scoreboard. 4-1. Raymond lifts the puck out of the zone. Batted ahead. That's going to draw a whistle as the puck's touched by Pitlick.
Well, you think of the balance of this Calgary Flames team this year, though. It's been up front. Johnny Gaudreau making a real impact on the back end, though. Once again, it's Giordano with another point tonight. He's got points in 28 of 37, the consistent factor back there. So it's the double whammy. They've been 2 of the hottest players supplying the offense for this Calgary Flames team when they need it most.
There's a shot from the line by Diaz, gloved by Scrivens. And the Oilers goaltender hangs on.
So the question now, Rick, is what do you do in goal? There's clearly a disconnect between the forwards and the D and the goaltender, and what you worry about now is that you've lost trust in each other. We've seen body language on both sides with defensemen making plays and not getting a save behind them, and you saw in that last goal, you know the goaltender's got to be wondering, well, where's my coverage? And it's just deteriorated to a place that I'm not sure it's fixable right now.
Yeah, well, Scrivens has been pretty good since he came in relief of Foss. The problem is they were down 3-0. You know, it's 3 goals and 6 shots in this game. 2 goals on 3 shots to start the last game.
It's all about when you let them in,
Exactly.
isn't it? And can you make the big save when the team starts to turn the momentum around? Or can you stop the bleeding like you didn't get? The 3 goals in a minute 40 on the road in your first game back after Christmas just buries your team, especially a team without confidence.
A shot by Purcell deflects across the slot to David Perron. And that goes out the stick of Russell out of play with a minute 46 to go.
Well, you think back, today's game is so different that my first year in Edmonton was Grant Fuhr's Vezina Trophy winning year, 1987-88. Grant Fuhr's goals against average 3.43 that year and an .881 save percentage. That wins the Vezina Trophy back in 1988. Well, the fact that that team scored 4.5 goals per game on average, this one here 2.1. Those days of 3+ goals against average like both Oiler goaltenders have right now are way long gone.
That goals against today gets you a trip to the ECHL.
Exactly. Vezina Trophy, 40 wins on the season, but
And all due respect to Grant Fuhr, was just a different era.
absolutely. And on the flip side, for Bob Hartley, who do you go with? And he had a stretch there where it wasn't Hiller who was the go-to guy. It was Kari Ramo. He went on a great run as well. He had a 6-0 run. So a couple of options there and decisions to make. Too many men on the ice here.
Yep. And the Flames will get a late penalty with a minute 1 to go. So the Oilers with a power play. There's Bob Hartley. You look at you look at Hiller. This is 6 and 7 now for him, and he's going to get back-to-back wins, barring a miracle if you're an Oilers fan. So I think you're going to go back to Hiller with LA coming to town on Monday. The Flames call for too many men on the ice here.
Just a little indecision on the change. Are you going? Are you staying? And the D jump out with a minute 1 left. Not much at question. I agree, though. When you have a situation right now for 5 more games at home, then they go 5 more on the road, and then have another 6-game homestand. If you've got a goaltender who's going, don't be afraid, especially on home ice, to bank those points. Give him a chance to get back in there. I think Hiller's been very solid in the game today.
Longest homestand of the season for the Flames. They'll play the Oilers again on Wednesday. As mentioned, LA in between. Oilers power play goes to work. We're inside the final minute of play, and there's a shot off the crossbar by Nugent Hopkins looking for his 2nd goal of the game, and that puck goes out of play.
Well, he got the only goal for the Oilers by being in that right area in the slot with a deflection, but this is a heck of a shot. That's, again, a difficult shot from a momentum standpoint, across your body, a quick turn of your shoulders, load that lower body, and the quick wrister beats the goaltender, but not the crossbar.
Russell off the draw, wires the puck around the glass, off the stick of Eberle. Good job to keep it on side. He flips that towards the goal. Hiller grabs the puck and hangs on. With the holidays upon us, it can mean only one thing. The 2015 NHL Bridgestone Winter Classic is just around the corner. January 1st on CBC from Nationals Park in Washington. It's the Blackhawks against the Capitals. Coverage gets underway at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 Pacific on CBC. And my partner Craig Simpson is going to be there, and I know you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and how about the Washington Capitals? Their first game back, go into Pittsburgh, get a 3-0 shutout. Chicago goes on the road. They win 5-2. So it sets itself up for a heck of a game.
Faceoff will come outside the zone as the Oilers put the puck out of play. 30 seconds left. It's a formality here. Flames, it's amazing when you look back at the LA Kings. Actually a penalty to Calgary. Pardon me, Weidman.
I think Weidman shot it around and it went straight out.
Straight out, yeah.
He was trying to shoot it around the glass and got a little bit too high.
We'll get a look at it here.
No, not much has gone wrong, but there's a rolling puck and he just tried to blast it out and blasted it right into the mesh.
Put that one about 4 feet from the pin. Here's Schultz back at the point. So it's a 5-on-3 late for the Oilers. Taylor Hall down low for Eberle. Purcell's out front, so is Nugent Hopkins. The puck hops away from Nugent Hopkins. Back to Schultz. Hall, Eberle, pass blocked. Play by Russell to get down in the way of that one. Eberle gets the puck in the corner. Nugent Hopkins behind the net to Eberle. Purcell out front, so is Hall for the one-timer. It's steered away by Hiller. That goes around the boards, and that'll do it. Time ticks down. Flames with 2 wins and an OTL in their last 3 games. The Oilers still struggling. 3 quick goals in the first and a 4-1 win for Calgary.
A lot of pats on the head for Jonas Hiller, but it's the offense that the Flames were able to supply in the first. You're right, that just put the Oilers back on their heels and gave the Flames another big home victory.
All right, let's check the 3 stars tonight. And for the second straight game, your number 1 star, Johnny Gaudreau. 2 goals on 3 shots. Joel Colborne gets his first of the year. Second star, Curtis Glencross with a goal as well. Their 3rd star tonight as the Flames open a 6-game homestand with a 4-1 victory over the Oilers in Calgary. George Stroumboulopoulos in the panel coming up next on Hockey Night in Canada.
This period brought to you by the all-new 2015 Sonata with available forward collision warning from Hyundai.